Good morning, children. I hope you all are fine. Children, today we will continue with our history, chapter 5, Kingdoms, Kings and an Early Republic. In the previous video, we have studied how men became kings, what sacrifices they performed, and what rituals were performed by them. One such ritual was Ashwamedha Yagna. This we have discussed in the previous class. Now, after becoming kings, they started capturing small provinces or small territories. I hope it is clear. Territories means small villages. Those villages were called Janpads. They were many in number, but once they became king, they started capturing these Janpads. This we will study in today's video. These Janpads were many in number. Slowly all the Janpads were captured by the kings and then they became Mahajanpads. Mahajanpads means big Janpads. As you can see in the given map, so many Janpads are given like Kaushambi, Avanti, Kurli, then we had Gandhara, Kosala, all these, and they were 16 in numbers. But what happened after some time, only the 4 major ones remains. One such Mahajanpad was Magadha and Vajji. About Magadha and Vajji, we will be studying about both the Janpads today in detail.
Janpads. When a king performed a sacrifice and became recognized as a strong and more powerful king, his kingdom was called a Janpad. Jan means people and Pad means foot. Janpad is the place where people set their foot or settle down. Janpads were the earliest kingdoms in ancient India. Archaeologists have found lots of evidences that tells us how the huts of these people were, what animals they reared, what crops they grew, and how they made pots. Mahajanpads. Some Janpads became stronger, bigger, and more important than others and were called Mahajanpads. Now you already know the meaning of Janpad. So Maha means huge. So these were huge kingdoms. There were 16 Mahajanpads in all that you can see in the given map, like Avanti, Vatsa, Asaka, Magadha, Kosala, Vrajji, and many more. Most Mahajanpads had a capital city and a fort to protect them. These were huge walls made of stones and wood, just to safeguard the kingdoms from attacks from other kings. It is important to note that building and maintain such a fort requires a lot of material and labor. Hence, Rajas started appointing armies of young men and paying them salaries. There were 2 changes in agriculture at this time. The first was the use of iron plowshares for better turning of soil, and secondly, transplantation of paddy for increased production. Farmers used iron plows to turn soil that helped them get better yield on their farm. Iron plowshares were heavy and transplantation needs constant bending. So, landless labor and slaves were gathered to get this work done. In order to pay salaries to the big armies and for building huge forts, they started collecting regular taxes. So, taxes were imposed on crops, there were taxes on craft persons as well. There were herders were also expected to pay taxes, and there were also taxes on goods that were brought and sold, and hunters and gatherers also had to provide forest produce to the Raja. Magadha, another most important and the most powerful Mahajanpad. As you can see, it was roughly in the region of Bihar and West Bengal. Here are all the 16 names of Mahajanpads marked and given in the map. In about 200 years, Magda became the most powerful Mahajanpad. Rivers like the Ganga and Son flowed through it, which provided water, improved transport, and helped make the land fertile. Also, some forest parts of Magda provided animals like elephants, woods for building houses, and there were some iron ore mines in the region as well, which helped in making tools and weapons. Magadha has a long list of powerful rulers like Bimbisara and Ajatsattu. These rulers ensured that they captured the other Janpadas and increased the span of their kingdoms. There is a story about Alexander from Macedonia and Europe who wanted to conquer the world, and he had reached the banks of river Beas and wanted to march eastward, but they returned back hearing that the Indian rulers were very powerful with vast armies of foot. Many coins were also issued by the Magadhan rulers. For trade and business purposes. Vajji, with its capital at Vaishali, Bihar, was under a different form of government known as Gana or Sangha. In a Gana or Sangha, there were not one but many rulers. Sometimes, even when thousands of men ruled together, each one was known as a Raja. These Rajas performed rituals together. They also met in assemblies and decided what had to be done and how through discussion and debate. For example, if they were attacked by an enemy, they met to discuss what should be done to meet the threat. However, women, dasas, and kamakaras could not participate in these assemblies. Both the Buddha and Mahavira belong to Ganas or Sanghas. Some of the most vivid descriptions of life in the Sanghas can be found in Buddhist books. I hope it is clear to all of you. Now, here is an assignment, dear children, for you. In your copy, write down the names of any 5 Mahajanpads. So, in this chapter, children, we have learned about how some men became rulers, Janpads, Mahajanpads, Magadha, and Vajji. I hope everything is clear to you all. If you have any doubts, we will discuss about it in our online class. Thank you and have a nice day.